friends at ResDiary HQ. I'm Mally, and today it's Christmas setup time for your diary. Our expert Andy is here to walk us through some of the changes you can make to your diary to get the most out of your Christmas service. Whether you're going to be focusing on large pre-ordered bookings or making space for Santa's grotto, we're here today to outline the options and suggest some solutions. We'll also be taking your questions live, so if there's anything that you want to know about the diary, post your questions in the chat and we'll cover them in the open Q&A at the end. Andy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So as we head into our Christmas preparations, a lot of our customers are asking, what can ResDiary do to help us get them ready? So Andy, what exactly should our customers be thinking about when planning for this festive period?
The first thing I would always look at is last year's preparations. There'll be a lot of things that went well. There's a lot of things that probably didn't go as well as you wanted to either. So taking that information will help inform you for this year and making sure you maximise your potential for Christmas.
Fantastic. So I'm sure there are also a few venues, as you mentioned, that are quite worried about all the things that could potentially go wrong.
So this will be my third Christmas at ResDiary, and a lot of our customers, what they don't do is that's set up correctly. Now, the setup for me is getting all the customers involved into the process and planning it early, getting the chefs, getting the menus ready, getting the managers all ready, and getting the staff trained up for it. That will help your marketing team promote what you want to do. But also for me, another big thing is a lot of customers really don't use the diary in service at Christmas time. Closing out your diary for that month really impacts people being able to book online.
So being available and prepared for December is the best thing to do going forward, in your opinion?
Definitely. Great setup right now, including for your larger parties, but then also your smaller parties being able to book in seamlessly makes that Christmas that little bit extra special for you.
And how can ResDiary help?
So for us, we've got a lot of tools within the system which we're going to go through today, but also if you do feel at any point that you're uncomfortable getting set up, please get in touch. We're always happy to help.
Fantastic. So from your personal experience, as a manager setting up for Christmas previously and working with ResDiary, where would you start?
So a big thing for me, December is that month of the year that's so crucial to businesses. It generally runs differently, so I would create segments.
And these segments, how do I create them?
So within the diary, we do have a couple of training videos that will help you set them up, but as always, we're here to help.
And do I set them up now, ready for Christmas, or do I wait until December to set these up?
As early as possible. Your segments, what they actually are, is a completely different special operation to what you do right now. You might decide to take 15 covers instead of 10 at this time slot, or your customers get different time slots. Segments really seamlessly move into your diary to make sure that Christmas is all set.
And the ResDiary team are on hand to help me get these set up if needed?
Always happy to help.
Fantastic. And so if I've had successful Christmas segments in the past, or maybe I'm a new manager that knows that the last Christmas was successful, can I use an old segment and maybe have it reoccurring for this year?
Definitely. We have a lot of customers that have set up segments for 2017, 2018, 2019. If you create the same segment for all three, it doesn't change anything what's happening in your diary, but it does keep your back end nice and clean.
And you mentioned there that you're able to increase your yield if you currently operate with a 10 per time slot to 15. What other aspects of the diary can be changed that you think venues should look at changing, getting ready for Christmas?
So a lot of customers during the year don't ask for leave times for customers, for example. But at Christmas time, that's really crucial to make sure the customer's informed beforehand, to make sure that you get the table back to turn it again. Now, with that time of year, the segment can be set up so that happens.
And I'm looking at the main layout of the diary as well. If I, say, have some spare tables that I do really like to utilise when it comes to really filling out the restaurant, I can add those in this new segment. It's not going to affect my current operating segment before December.
Definitely. Your table johns can be different. Those two tables that you have in a cupboard somewhere that are emergency that you use throughout the year, but they're actually in your diary at that time of year and you want to sell them, add them into that new Christmas segment.
And another thing you mentioned there with increasing this yield, which sounds fantastic for December, but if as a venue I do actually operate for Christmas Day, am I able to have a segment within a segment?
Yeah, definitely. Christmas Day runs completely different. What you find is there's set times, 12 till 3, 3:30 till 6, and a 6:30 sitting. You want to take everyone in at once, that can be set up too.
That sounds great. So if my venue usually takes small bookings, but I really want to make sure that the party sizes I get in for Christmas is a large variety, how can I use the ResDiary to help me control that?
So the rules itself are a massive part of the diary themselves. Rules are really underutilised for a lot of customers. They push the larger parties to times that you want them to book. Now, it does tell your staff internally as well exactly what you want, but the good thing is about your rules and segments working together is that if I take, say, 6 covers throughout the year online, but I want to take 10s online to stop my phones going off and let the bookings come in, your rules can really work with that.
That sounds great. But how do I know that I'm maximising the space and my operating times within the diary?
So for back-to-back tables?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Now, a lot of people use these rules for that, but also closeouts. Now, closeouts are used, people think it's blocking off times that can't be booked, but there are really a couple of smart ways that we can set them up so that they work for you. I'm just going to show you one now. So within my diary, this is my diary for today, and I've got a brand new segment starting tomorrow. Now, tomorrow's diary, I've actually set up completely different with different areas, but we also have set closeouts in place. Now, this means that I'm maximising my 3 turns here while still letting the venue have natural availability open up. Really, really kind of powerful tool, but also you've got to be really disciplined in using that as well.
Well, that looks great. So with this, I can see here then, all the times would be available offering the availability in the main restaurant, but you're making sure that you have got those back-to-backs.
Definitely.
What if going into Christmas, if we've got these special menus on, I imagine our venues are going to be wanting to allow guests to have longer times at the table. Is there any way for me to find out from past Decembers how long people are actually spending on these tables?
Definitely. Now, the diary works, you've got a massive amount of data within your diary. So if you're using it in service, you know when they sit, when they close, you get all that data in real time. Now, we do have a little bit of a sneak peek today. We've got a new booking report, a booking generator, report generator that's coming out. Now, within this actually gives you real-time data in terms of what you have. Now, this is about 7 reports in one, guys, but you'll actually be able to see for your customers how long the durations are. Now, that can be broken down into time slot, day of the week, and cover size.
Amazing. So I'm able to use this. Obviously, I don't want this. My priority would be for December to make sure that people aren't rushed off their tables. These Christmas parties are obviously special functions. So I'm able to collate the data from last December and change the table durations solely for December, or is it going to affect my average table times from now until then?
If you set up that segment, it's in a bubble itself. So it's all self-contained and you can do whatever you need with it.
That sounds great. Now, I do have a question about these rules. If I've never used these rules within my diary before, what do you recommend I use them for? What's the easiest way to really gain control and make sure that I'm utilising them correctly?
So when rules are generally set up in the diary to protect your business, so you're not sitting at a table of 1 on a table of 10, for example.
Right.
But at Christmas time, you want to make sure you want 8s on 8s, you want 6s on 6s. It can work the other way around so that you're maximising that potential. But also there are some overrides in there in place as well that you can set up a couple of days before.
And the closeout, if you could just jump back to the 11th, those are really interesting closeouts that you had in place. Are they difficult to set up?
No. ResDiary team are always here to help, but on our help desk, we do have some really, really good guides that are really informative and can help set you up.
And how do I find these guides? Oh, fantastic, with the help.
Just press the little help button there, guys, and you do have our knowledge base as well.
That sounds great. So now thinking about packages that we've got available within ResDiary for Christmas, what tools does the diary have that can really help our customers provide special Christmas offerings to their guests?
So about 1.5 years we brought out a pre-order functionality add-on to the system that I wish I had in the venue at the time. Pre-orders, you can set up your menus however you want to set them up, so they can be set menus, they can be bulk order menus, you can send them out to the customer, and then what that customer can do is fill it in and send it back.
I've dealt with pre-orders in the past, and as exciting as it is to be somebody putting themselves in charge of something as large as the Christmas dinner, it can be very frustrating to try and track down everyone's order. I noticed you mentioned bulk orders there, which would be fantastic for large football teams, nights out, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but individual, so I can actually distribute these out to everyone in the office, so they're responsible. How does...
Yeah, so what happens is you pop the names in. So what I'm going to do, guys, I've actually got a pre-order that's going to be sent to myself. So I also have a cut-off time of when it should be filled in. That can be set for every single menu you want. And when I get to that, I actually get to this page here. Now, I have added all the customers, so me and you are going out with Minnie Mouse and Donald Duck. And I can actually add the orders in, or I can email you out to fill in your pre-order as well.
Amazing.
Now, I've decided that I'm going to have the soup, I'm going to have a rump steak, and it's going to be cremated. Now, I like chips, and I'll take a peppercorn sauce. Then for desserts, I'm going to have some sticky toffee pudding. And that's me done.
With these menus, this looks fantastic. The modifiers within there, it's just such an ease of process for the customer. Am I limited to just one menu? What if I want to be able to provide a Christmas lunch menu to run at 12, a Christmas dinner to run at 5, as well as my December buffet menu? Am I limited to the amount of menus I can have?
You can have as many menus as you want, but only one can be attached to one booking. It saves the venue having 5 menus and people choose from 5 different menus, customers building their own, so it's one booking to one order. But the orders within it can be modified to assist with that.
That sounds great. And does that mean then that I've got full control over requesting payment? I imagine from a venue, I've never worked at a venue open on Christmas Day, but I would imagine that full prepayment would be required. Am I able to request payment for that menu, but then for the rest of December I'm happy for guests to pay on arrival?
Yeah. And the good thing is as well, within the diary, you don't have to take payment up front. We do have a secure payment gateway that customers can use if they feel as if they don't want to give their card details over the phone.
That sounds like what many restaurants would really benefit from having. You mentioned a cut-off point, which I imagine would be very useful for chefs. Reminders, I know it can be quite time-consuming for venues to chase down their guests for these. Can we send reminders out to these guests to remind them that they do need to submit these orders?
Yeah, so my event manager that I had used to chase her around 25 hours a week. Now, that at the same time as sending the emails, getting them back. Within the diary, you can actually set up as many timed emails before the cut-off that you want.
That's great.
Chase them.
That's great. And so, if I don't have this add-on as part of my ResDiary package, are there any other functions within the diary that will allow my staff to upsell products when they're taking these booking inquiries?
Yep, so there's an internal part of the diary called Booking Extras. Now for me, this is an older part of the diary that has not really been used by a lot of customers. They might be too scared to understand it, but what you can do is when you're making bookings internally, you can add on glasses of champagne, be it upgraded packages, flowers on the table, and not only that, you can ask for the details for that, and it can be tracked as well in your diary.
That sounds amazing and really handy to know that function is available within the diary as well. So now thinking from a venue point of view that usually just takes small bookings, as I mentioned before, but obviously coming into Christmas, large offices, and if we're maybe thinking of hiring out half of the restaurant, does ResDiary have anything to help our customers deal with centralising these booking inquiries?
Yeah, so I know a lot of our customers, they'll have a form on the website. That form will go through to an events team or the manager on duty, and some things can get missed. Mm-hmm. Not only that, there'll be competing events, and you're not sure what really came in first. So we do have something upcoming, guys. It's a little bit of a sneak peek. It's still being developed right now, but it's actually a functioning inquiry management system for you. So I will be able to take my inquiries on a bespoke customizable widget that you want on your site. You can tailor the events types to what you want, the party sizes as well, but not only that, from the diary you will be able to get the information here and you'll be able to action on it.
Wow.
And that will all go into your diary, and that will cut off availability so that those people that you don't have those 2 bookings coming in at the same time.
That sounds great. And now something that you briefly touched on earlier, it is really, we've heavily emphasised on how busy our customers are going to be during December, and a worry that I know venues feel is making sure that these guests do turn up for their bookings. Now, Is there something within the ResDiary, I know you mentioned briefly there, could you explain a little bit more on what ResDiary has to help us have that little extra bit of security?
Yeah, so every January, we'll get a lot of customers complaining the fact that they had a lot of no-shows. That happens in this industry, unfortunately, but we need to make sure that that's limited. So taking card details is always a great option for those parties wanting to book in December. At the same time as for your larger parties, take deposits. It doesn't have to be a per person deposit, it can be a per booking deposit. At the same time as you're securing your future for customers that are actually serious who want to book.
And how easy is it to set up this Stripe account?
Easy, very, very easy. Once you've linked your Stripe account to ResDiary, it's about 4 or 5 clicks, but at the same time as we do have our help team, our support team and our help guides as well.
And am I able to maybe just utilise this function for Christmas? If I'm comfortable, if my venue's maybe in a small town and I've never really had an issue with no-shows, can I utilise this simply for December?
Yep, you can use it for December. Maybe, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday lunch you don't want to take card details, but Thursday, Friday lunch you do. It can be tailored however you want it.
It sounds very flexible, so I could also even maybe just use it for large groups for deposits only.
Yeah, definitely. And also with that, working with your rules in the diary, if we're increasing the party sizes from say 6 to 10 as I did earlier, what's actually happening is you're taking the effort of you having to work that.
And is it quite easy then to track the payments being taken in relation to the actual bookings on the diary?
They'll show clearly on the actual diary itself exactly where the customer's at. In terms of also with the special page I talked about that you send out to a customer.
Yeah.
But not only that, we do have a couple of reports in the diary that will track all those payments attached to the bookings.
That sounds very useful. And another hugely important aspect, I believe, especially at this time of year now, where we're getting into September, marketing. How can I use my ResDiary to really push Christmas, to really fill up December as much as I can right now?
So the best thing about the diary is you're collecting data every single day about your customers. Now that's a really, really crucial tool in the battle for getting these customers back in the door. Now within the diary you do have a dedicated marketing suite, but also within that we do have some parts of the diary you can tailor to make sure you know customer types and customer codes. If you tag these customers, you're starting to be able to kind of move in that customer you actually want. A lot of people do spray and pray now, where they just send out a marketing mailer to everyone. Not only that, since GDPR legislation came in, a lot of people are actually going to start seeing these emails and they're going to start opting out more and more. Targeted marketing is the way forward. And within the diary, within those 2 points I said, the customer codes, you're tailoring your message to the customers that are going to come back to you.
And these marketing mailers, I can set them up myself within the diary as well?
Yeah, definitely. Now I know a lot of companies also use third-party software. We do have a couple of integrations with certain partners, but at the same time as if we don't integrate with them, you can export that database into your third-party software.
And another question I've got for you, Andy, is it true that with the ResDiary, I can actually easily track where my bookings are coming from?
Definitely. Channel management is one of the key parts of the diary. A lot of people will see the blue boxes and the yellow boxes on the diary. This is actually where the channel is coming from. Now, tracking Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, obviously reserved with Google is a huge one now as well for us. But a big thing is if you're doing marketing campaigns for every single month, you want to track how successful these campaigns are.
And just one more question for you, Andy. What is it that you want for Christmas?
Well, for me, I think I went through it today. I want our venues to be set up so that they get a stress-free Christmas.
Thank you so much for your knowledge there. That was really interesting. Andy will be back for an open Q&A session soon, where you can ask any questions you might have about what we've discussed here this morning, or just about your general diary. Get them into the chat box just now. We've already had some interesting ones through. But first, Kirsty from our support team has some interesting thoughts on increasing your availability.
Hi, I'm Kirsty from ResDiary's training and support team. Some fine-tuning in the service editor can help increase your availability. I wanted to give you some tips to consider for your venue. A great place to start is with how much time you give your customers at the table. The duration settings. The smallest change can have a huge impact on your availability. You may give tables of 2 90 minutes on average, but by reducing this by 15 minutes at off-peak times, you'll be able to free up more space in your diary. Any changes made to your duration settings will automatically update the leave time notice shown to your customers online and in the email confirmation. Although you can disable the leave time rules for later bookings if you know you won't need the table returned. You may find that your service will bottleneck at peak times. Using the Guild Management tool, you can push your customers to book earlier or later in the service. By tapering the number of covers and bookings you offer at key times, you'll still be able to accommodate your guests but protect your kitchen and smooth out your service. All of these tools are part of the service editor, and there are details of how to use this in the Adding or Modifying Services film linked in the descriptor. For more guides to diary features, click the ResDiary logo to subscribe. For in-diary support, click the Help button. The knowledge base has a range of support and step-by-step guides that can help you out. You can contact us by raising a ticket and we will be in touch.
Thank you for staying with us. In case you didn't know, there's a wealth of great content covering all aspects of the diary on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe to stay up to date. But for now, we're going to answer some questions that you've submitted, and again, please keep submitting them as we have this Q&A session. Andy, the first question I've got comes from Emma, who's asking, can I put a widget on Facebook for Christmas specifically?
That's a very good question, thank you, Emma. For Christmas specifically, you can have widgets set up on Facebook. It is a little bit harder on the actual page itself for the Book Now button, but in all the posts, if you're promoting Christmas events, you can have a specific Christmas widget set up, which you can track.
That's great. And I've got another inquiry here from Robin. She's asking, what if a restaurant normally takes online bookings for big groups, but only wants to take bookings for 6 people for the December period?
Well, that's actually the opposite the way that I was working my rules. So you set up the segment that you have in place and you make your maximum party size for rules online as a 6. It's really easy to do, but what I also make sure you know about is just test it out. But also, if you feel as if uncomfortable getting it set up or just not too sure, always get in touch, we're happy to help.
I've got another inquiry here from Anna. She's asking, can I find out how much people have spent in my restaurant in the past from ResDiary?
Well, with the new booking report generator we have, you definitely can. Now, there are a couple of ways that this information can be pulled. You can put into every single person's, after the shift, the average spend they've had. However, that's not realistic. We work with a range of EPOS operators, be it cloud-based or kind of more enterprise terminal-based. Now, that will actually give you real-time information and also what the customer's spending habits are and also itemised bills. It's a really, really powerful tool.
So if I had this EPOS integration last Christmas, I'd be able to actually see what the spend had been around that time?
Definitely, and not only that, your data is going to be far more accurate as well because you're getting the tables open and close at the same time.
Oh, fantastic. I've got a question here asking, if I'm closed for one day during December, can I close that day off?
Easy peasy done. So a lot of venues, when we're setting up Christmas, they always forget about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. There's always that idea of, are we going to open, are we going to close? And then it gets to December the 4th and they realise that, hey, we haven't actually closed it off. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go to Christmas Day in my diary. Now, I don't have to actually create a closeout in place. Sorry, I think I've already done it. So I decided to close on the 23rd and I'm going to give all my staff a fantastic holiday. I don't have to go into your settings and closeouts. I just press the closeout button here and just say I'm closed. Now this is also dependent on your user level access. So management can only do this.
So I don't have to worry about my front of house staff just randomly closing off days?
Let the staff know so that they know why we're closing. Now obviously I've got bookings in there because my poor planning, that's something I'll have to sort out talking to our customers.
I've got an inquiry here from Tim, but please do continue adding your questions into the chat box if there's anything you'd like to know. But Tim's asking, can I sell gift vouchers online through the ResDiary system?
Yes, you can. So ResDiary has within it a shop front centre, so you can sell vouchers. Now at the same time as you can email them out, or it's generally set up for postage, but we also partner with a company called Voucher Cart. Voucher Cart do a bespoke shop front window for you. They can actually do a lot of the sending of the vouchers, physical vouchers out for you as well. And as a ResDiary customer, you do get a reduced rate on the package.
And these can be tailored, I imagine, to the venue's branding?
Definitely.
And another inquiry I've got here from Robert, who's wondering, can I send out special confirmation emails for Christmas bookings that differ from the emails that the guests receive for the remainder of the year?
Yes, so we have within the diary a lot of conditions in our emails that can be set up depending on certain situations. We don't generally let our customers have access to it. The reason why is obviously we do a little bit of coding to make sure that certain things happen, but at the same time as we are always happy to help to get them changed. But your emails are always the last part of the setup. So if you don't have your promotions set up or exactly what you want to do, the emails won't actually work. So that becomes as part of your setup of the year, what you want to inform customers of.
And just leading on there from as well, there is an inquiry here from Lewis about T's and C's for Christmas. Are we able to add those into the emails specifically for Christmas bookings? I imagine that would be very similar to what you just explained, but...
Yep, so your terms and conditions from a customer point of view, especially if you're taking card details, but also for Christmas time as well, when you want there to be no ambiguity for your customers. Give them that information without you having to speak to them in a nice way. You give them the information, but you give it personalised, but also without having to call you. That can be put into the emails. But at the same time, as you also have to know your T's and C's beforehand as well. As long as you know what you're acting on, because if you change the T's and C's halfway through, and I've got the previous email, I'll have the old terms and conditions.
And Ryan here is inquiring, can I export my reports?
Yes, so all the reports that we have can be exported. The report generator that I showed you is, because it's still in beta, cannot be exported as of yet. That is something the team are working on, and they're working very hard on it at the moment.
And if this is just for myself, when I'm exporting these files, am I able to, for the chefs, for example, if they're wanting reports on the pre-orders, are they easy to understand? Definitely.
The good thing is about our pre-order reports as well, we actually have an itemised report where it tells you what the customer's having and how they're cooking it. Every chef is different. They all like the information in a different way, even if it's my head chef or my sous chef. So if you have to tailor that in the venue's point of view, you can export the information and give it to the chefs how they see fit.
An inquiry here from Chris through in Edinburgh. I usually take large bookings all the time, but I don't want to take them between 7 and 8 at Christmas. Am I able to do that, and how?
Chris, I can show you right now. Now, one thing I'd like to ask as well, Chris, is if you're happy to take your bookings for smaller parties at those time slots, because that's a crucial thing. We wouldn't use closeouts in that place, we'd use your rules. So
closeouts would impact the ability for anybody to book with
exactly.
it.
So you want to take bookings for say 8 and above only at certain time slots, but at 6 you want to take it up to 6 for a different time slot. So we would actually create a rule in place. Now don't worry about these guys, these are my older rules that are in my normal setups. So let's call this large party cutoff and say large parties can book early or late. Now the type is actually maximum booking size, but the channel is only online. So your team internally can still take these bookings without impacting them. Now, do not allow bookings of size of say 8 or more. And we do this for all days, okay? Now, this looks like I'm going to turn it on for my full shift. Don't worry about this. So we're going to turn it on for my Christmas dinner segment. But once I've turned it on, I can then adjust when it's actually enforceable.
So you can fully control not only if it's just applying lunch or dinner, but actually for individual time slots.
Yep. So this rule is active, not at 5 o'clock or 6, it's 5:15 or say 5:30 or 5:45, but it is on until say 7 p.m. So that means that rule's in place all those time slots. But also if I want to override it online, say I want to go back to my normal rules, you can set up an automated override as well. Now that will set that up in my diary so that you're controlling your smaller parties that can still book, but your larger parties can book those earlier late time slots. I was the same at my venue. If you sat at, I want to have large parties in at 6 o'clock, so I could turn it for 9 o'clock. People do make mistakes. You want online to be as clear cut as you can, but also internally give your staff flexibility, but you also know what you can take.
Thank you very much. Now, another inquiry here from Sarah. Can my restaurant sell tickets to a Christmas dinner in advance using the diary?
Yeah, so for the diary, the way I see it, a ticket is a table for us. So if you've got Christmas Day table set up, as the example, Christmas Day is that special day, you can set it up so that your tickets are pre-bought on beforehand. Now, you've got to double check. There's another segment we would do, like we talked about earlier on, so Christmas Day is different. It'll have different yield. It'll be the amount of covers you have. It is a little bit more of a setup, but it can be done, and obviously we can be happy to help. So if you stay on the line, get your details, and what we'll do is we can give you a hand with that.
And an interesting inquiry here from Shannon, who's asking if you could show us in detail how to add menus from the Christmas lunch.
For pre-orders?
Yes.
So there are a couple of ways we can do it, Shannon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it internally. So it's not automated as of yet. I've decided that I'm going to give that customer the Christmas menu because I've spoke to them. They're a smaller party than I normally would take, and I say, let's take the Christmas menu. So I'll go to a couple of days in the future. Now I'm going to pop in the customer's details. Now remember, with your pre-orders, guys, everyone does need to take email addresses. Otherwise the customer won't actually get what they need. I'll choose my time. So we'll go for lunch and say 12:30. Now what I'm going to do here, this is me manually adding a pre-order. And these are my active menus. Now I know that I'm in September right now, my Christmas menu I want to run, but later on in the year, say January, I don't want it to run. So to make any mistakes, now when I take that booking for the customer, you'll actually get a little icon there that says that's got a pre-order on it. Now the good thing is, if you don't understand what any of these icons mean, you press the letter L and it shows you what every single icon means in the diary, even any bespoke ones you've created.
That was the letter L.
Yeah, L for Lima. So there it is, customer has a completed pre-order, you've got a little tick, and the booking has an incomplete pre-order. Now if you want to do it automated, so we do that via promotions. So if I've got a room with 2 tasting menu, I'm going to add my Christmas menu onto this. When you have the pre-order functionality added onto your diary, you do have menus. Then you can have a view only, but realistically, why would you want to send them a view only? Maybe for Christmas Day actually, because you see what the customer's going to be getting on the day. But for this Christmas menu, now anytime someone books that room 2 with tasting menu, they're going to be sent out a pre-order automatically.
Thank you very much for that, Andy. And just in case any of you have any further inquiries about the pre-order, there's a huge amount of information about it within our knowledge base. But again, don't hesitate to get in touch with the team, as we'll be more than happy to hold a demo session on the add-on feature if it is something you would like to take advantage of in preparation for Christmas. Now, another great inquiry here from Robert. There'll be lots of large groups at Christmas. How can I ensure that I protect the restaurant from no-shows? This again goes back to Stripe, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Robert, my mum always starts looking for Christmas dinners and things like that for parties in February. Now that's a fairly far point out, but if you're getting to this point in time, people are starting to get serious about Christmas parties, functions, football clubs, rugby clubs. Taking card details or taking a deposit up front is the biggest way to secure the reservation. Now also at the same time is you give them terms and conditions that they agree to that protect your business but also protecting the level of service you want to give. It's not just about bums on seats in terms of that, it's how you want to control it and give the customer the full experience as well. But definitely card details is a minimum, and then a deposit near the time. That can be done manually, but the card details up front secure the reservation. and then you ask for money at a certain point. Now, if they don't give you the money, or they say they're chasing it, sending out Stripe landing page is a phenomenal thing. I send out a link saying you've got 3 days to give us the deposit. However, otherwise, if that doesn't happen, the booking's automatically cancelled. That means it opens up that booking automatically for people that are maybe a bit more serious about wanting to book.
I've got an inquiry here from Marlene who's asking, can I attach a PDF of my venue's menu to my confirmation emails?
Yep. Now, obviously, that's something we would do for you again, Marlene. If it's for, say, a Christmas menu, that can be done. And what will happen is we basically put a link in, but you would either have to host it, or you could host it on ResDiary.com on your microsite.
And Tom here from Edinburgh is asking, a lot of my bookings come in through Instagram. How can I get people to book directly and know that they're coming in from Instagram?
Okay, so at the moment we don't have an actual physical integration with Instagram. What we do have though is we make channel-based widgets for Instagram, and you track it. Now within the post that you're doing, you would have to maybe use a bit.ly link, and that's where you could track it. Now those links are not clickable in Instagram, I'm afraid. It's something we are obviously wanting to do because Instagram is huge from a consumer's point of view, a diner's point of view, but at the moment we just don't integrate. But the best thing is set up your widgets, and then you'll be able to track, when your bookings come through Instagram. Not only that, you can do special deals on those Instagram channels to get people to book via those links as well.
Scott from Glasgow actually has a great question. Can I change my confirmation emails to be festive? Could I maybe throw in a picture of Rudolph in there?
Yes, you can. There are some limited functionalities with extra images, Scott, but it can be done. It does take a bit of work, so you can't have 15 images for, say, the first week and then 20 images after, but we can definitely assist to see what we could do for you. With that in mind, because of a massive design change like that, there may be an additional cost to change that for you.
And I've got another one from Manchester from Ben. I don't want to do food on Christmas Eve, but I do want to be taking drink bookings. How can I let my guests know that this is what's on offer?
Ben, that's my kind of Christmas Eve. What I would be doing in that point is we set up a promotion so that all the customers know when they're booking it's drinks only. And not only that, we also tell them in the confirmation email, please note this is drinks only.
So it's reiterated so that the venue is protected from any customers coming in and expecting to have a 3-course meal.
Yep, and not only that, we also remind them in the reminder email. And if you do have text set up as well, to give them that reminder, but you've given the customer 3 chances there to say, this is what we're doing. And if they do turn up on the night, it is that communication you've had with them, but at least you've given that confirmation and information.
Well, that's all we really have time for this morning. Thank you, Andy, and thank you so much for your questions. We really hope we gave you some useful answers that'll help you get ready for Christmas. We'll be back next month with some more live content, but in the meantime, if there's anything that you need to help with your diary or any further questions in regards to anything we discussed, please raise a ticket and our support team will be on hand to help you.